What is the most abundant metal in the Earth's crust? Aluminium. Aluminium, Al, is the most abundant metal and the third most abundant element in the Earth's crust, after oxygen and silicon. It is primarily extracted from bauxite ore and is valued for its lightweight and corrosion-resistant properties. In the 6th century BC, where was the empire of Cyrus the Great? Persia. Cyrus the Great founded the Achaemenid Empire, also known as the First Persian Empire, in the 6th century BC. This vast empire was one of the largest in ancient history, extending across Western Asia and Central Asia. What continent is bordered on the north by the Arctic Ocean, on the east by the North Atlantic Ocean, on the southeast by the Caribbean Sea, and on the west by the North Pacific Ocean? North America. North America is the third largest continent by area, comprising countries such as Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Its distinctive geographical boundaries include the Arctic, Atlantic, and Pacific Oceans, along with the Caribbean Sea. What is a group of conditions involving damage to the joints of the body, the most common form of which is a result of trauma to or infection of the joint, or age? Arthritis. Arthritis refers to a group of conditions characterized by inflammation of the joints, causing pain, stiffness, and swelling. Osteoarthritis, a degenerative joint disease, is the most prevalent form, often associated with aging and wear and tear on cartilage. The extensive interconnected network of trade routes across the Asian continent connecting East, South, and Western Asia with the Mediterranean world, as well as North and Northeast Africa and Europe, was known as what? The Silk Road. The Silk Road was an ancient network of trade routes that linked the East and West, stretching from China through Central Asia to the Mediterranean. It facilitated significant cultural, economic, and religious exchange between diverse civilizations for over a millennium. Why was wrestler Ara Abrahamian of Sweden disqualified by the IOC and stripped of his bronze medal at the 2008 Summer Olympics? Disrupting the award ceremony. Ara Abrahamian was disqualified from the 2008 Beijing Olympics and stripped of his bronze medal for disruptive conduct. He protested a controversial referee decision by throwing down his medal during the award ceremony, an act deemed unsportsmanlike by the International Olympic Committee, IOC. What is the Spanish name for Saint James, son of Zebedee, one of the 12 apostles of Jesus? Santiago. Santiago is the Spanish equivalent of Saint James, son of Zebedee, one of the 12 apostles of Jesus. He is a prominent figure in Christianity, with Santiago being a widely adopted name for places and individuals, notably in the context of the Camino de Santiago pilgrimage. What is one of the world's most prestigious scientific journals, first published on the 4th of November 1869, one of the few that publish original research articles across a wide range of scientific fields? Nature. Nature is a highly influential British multidisciplinary scientific journal, first published on November 4, 1869. Renowned globally, it publishes original research articles spanning a wide array of scientific disciplines, making it a cornerstone of academic publication. What is the largest city in the province of Alberta, Canada? Calgary. Calgary is Alberta's largest city and a major economic hub in Western Canada, particularly known for its energy industry, agriculture, and tourism due to its proximity to the Canadian Rockies. What was the title applied by the Ottoman Empire, and later Turkey, to their Viceroy of Egypt? Khedive. Khedive was an honorific title, equivalent to Viceroy, used by the rulers of Egypt and Sudan under the Ottoman Empire from 1867 to 1914. It signified a greater degree of autonomy than a mere governor but acknowledged the Sultan's ultimate sovereignty. What element takes its name from the German word for evil spirit? Cobalt. Cobalt, a chemical element with atomic number 27, is named after the German word Kobold, meaning goblin or evil spirit. This name was given by miners because cobalt ores were difficult to smelt and often contained arsenic, which caused health issues, leading them to attribute the problems to mischievous spirits. The hymn, I Vow to Thee, My Country, was set by Gustav Holst to which part of his The Planets suite? Jupiter. The popular British patriotic hymn, I Vow to Thee, My Country, uses the melody from Jupiter, the bringer of jollity, from Gustav Holst's orchestral suite, The Planets. The words, a poem by Cecil Spring Rice, were set to Holst's music in 1921. Whose novels, Northanger Abbey and Persuasion, were published posthumously in 1818, and who died before completing one that was eventually called Sanditon. Jane Austen. Jane Austen was a renowned English novelist whose works, including Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility, are celebrated for their social commentary and wit. Northanger Abbey and Persuasion were published posthumously in 1818, and she left behind an unfinished manuscript, later titled Sanditon. What planet orbits the Sun between Earth and Mercury? Venus. Venus is the second planet from the Sun, positioned between Mercury and Earth in our solar system. It is often referred to as Earth's sister planet, due to their similar size and mass, but it has an extremely hot and dense atmosphere composed primarily of carbon dioxide. The islands of Funen, Zealand, Bornholm, Lolland, Falster, Mors, and Langeland belong to which nation? Denmark. These islands are integral parts of Denmark, a Nordic country in northern Europe. Zealand, Sealand, is the largest and most populous island, home to the capital city, Copenhagen, while Funen, Fyn, is another significant island in the archipelago. Which city, originally a monastic settlement founded by Saint Finbar in the 6th century, built on the River Lee, became a major point of Irish emigration to North America after the Great Irish Famine in the 1840s? Cork. Cork, located on the River Lee in Ireland, has a rich historical background, originating as a 6th century monastic settlement. It played a significant role as a port of emigration, particularly for Irish people moving to North America following the devastating Great Irish Famine in the 1840s. James Chadwick discovered which subatomic particles in 1932? Neutrons. James Chadwick, a British physicist, discovered the neutron in 1932. This discovery was crucial for understanding the atomic nucleus and paved the way for nuclear physics and the development of atomic energy. What part of New York City is named for Catherine of Braganza? Queens. The New York City borough of Queens is named after Catherine of Braganza, the Portuguese princess who became Queen Consort of England, Scotland, and Ireland as the wife of King Charles II. This naming reflects the historical ties and colonial influence during the city's early development. What are found, although in small amounts, in certain seeds and stones, such as those of apple, mango, peach, and bitter almonds? Cyanides. Cyanide compounds, specifically cyanogenic glycosides, are naturally present in small amounts in the seeds and stones of various fruits like apples, mangoes, peaches, and bitter almonds. When ingested and metabolized, these glycosides can release hydrogen cyanide, which is toxic. When did the United Kingdom convert to decimal currency? The 15th of February 1971. The UK switched to decimal currency on the 15th of February 1971, replacing the traditional system of pounds, shillings, and pence. This transition, known as Decimal Day, standardized its currency to a base 10 system, where 1 pound equaled 100 new pence, simplifying transactions and aligning with most other world currencies. What is the more common name for polytetrafluoroethylene? Teflon. Polytetrafluoroethylene (PTFE) is a synthetic fluoropolymer of tetrafluoroethylene, commonly known by its brand name, Teflon. It is widely used in non-stick coatings for cookware due to its low friction, heat resistance, and chemical inertness, making it a valuable material in various industrial and consumer applications. After 97 years since being installed on a rock in Copenhagen Harbour, the statue of The Little Mermaid left its place in April 2010 to go where? Shanghai, China. The iconic Little Mermaid statue from Copenhagen Harbour was temporarily moved to Shanghai, China, in April 2010. This rare relocation was for display at the Shanghai World Expo, marking the first and only time the statue has left Denmark since its installation in 1913. Who was the merchant sea captain who made the first American circumnavigation of the world in 1790, and is known for trading voyages to the northern Pacific coast of North America between 1790 and 1793, which pioneered the fur trade in that region? Robert Gray. Robert Gray was an American merchant sea captain notable for completing the first American circumnavigation of the world in 1790. He is also recognized for his pioneering trading voyages to the northern Pacific coast of North America between 1790 and 1793, which significantly contributed to the establishment of the fur trade in that region. His expeditions also led to the discovery and naming of the Columbia River. The Jefferson Memorial, completed in 1943, is in which city? Washington, D.C. The Jefferson Memorial, a neoclassical monument dedicated to Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. President, is located in Washington, D.C. Completed in 1943, it stands prominently on the tidal basin, symbolizing American democracy and Jefferson's contributions to the nation's founding principles. What was the most recognizable feature of Moshe Dayan, who from 1953 to 1958 was the Chief of Staff of the Israel Defense Forces? Black eye patch. Moshe Dayan, a prominent Israeli military leader and politician, served as the Chief of Staff of the Israel Defense Forces from 1953 to 1958. His most recognizable feature was the black eye patch he wore, a result of an injury sustained during a mission in Syria in 1941. Dayan played a crucial role in several Arab-Israeli conflicts. What is the branch of science that studies the development of an embryo from the fertilization of an ovum to the fetal stage? Embryology. Embryology is a branch of biology that focuses on the formation and development of an embryo. It covers the entire developmental process from fertilization of the ovum until the formation of a fetus, providing insights into developmental biology and congenital abnormalities. What is the collective name for approximately 70 species of large, flightless crickets native to New Zealand, known for their size, with some growing up to 100 mm, 4 inches, in body length and weighing 20 to 30 grams? Weta. Weta are large, nocturnal, flightless crickets endemic to New Zealand. These ancient insects, which can vary significantly in size, play a vital ecological role as forest floor scavengers and pollinators within New Zealand's unique ecosystem. Which two entities were involved in the destruction of the Parthenon in 1687, after it had stood in Athens for over 2000 years? The Venetians and the Ottoman Turks. The Parthenon, a temple dedicated to the goddess Athena, suffered severe damage in 1687 during the Mauryan War. It was being used by the Ottoman Turks as a gunpowder magazine when it was hit by a cannonball fired by the Venetians, leading to a catastrophic explosion. Who became the first female United States Secretary of State, appointed in 1997? Madeleine Albright. Madeleine Albright served as the 64th United States Secretary of State from 1997 to 2001 under President Bill Clinton. Her appointment marked a significant milestone as she was the first woman to hold this prestigious cabinet position, influencing U.S. foreign policy at a critical juncture. In 1990, following the Central Committee of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union's decision to relinquish its monopoly on power, the constituent republics of the USSR held their first competitive elections. How many such republics comprised the Soviet Union? 15. The Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR, was composed of 15 Soviet Socialist Republics, SSRs. These republics, including Russia, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan, gained independence following the dissolution of the Soviet Union in December 1991, marking a significant geopolitical shift. What is the term for a type 1 hypersensitivity disorder of the immune system where the human body exhibits an adverse reaction to normally innocuous environmental substances? Allergy. An allergy is a chronic immune system condition characterized by an exaggerated response to substances that are typically harmless to most people, known as allergens. This hypersensitivity reaction can manifest in various symptoms, ranging from mild skin irritations to severe, life-threatening anaphylaxis. Which Scottish geographical term is used to describe a promontory or a headland? Mull. In Scottish geography, a mull refers to a headland or a prominent rocky cape, often signifying the southernmost or outermost point of a peninsula or island. Notable examples include the Mull of Kintyre and the Mull of Galloway, which are significant navigational landmarks. The constitution of which country is the world's oldest still in effect? San Marino. San Marino's constitution is considered one of the world's oldest, with some core principles dating back to its Legge Statutae Republici Sancti Marini, Statutes of the Republic of San Marino, written in 1600. This legal framework represents a continuous evolution of ancient laws and customs, showcasing remarkable constitutional longevity. What medieval coin, first minted around 1140 by Roger II of Sicily, was adopted by Florence in 1252 and Venice in 1283, and was in use in Austria-Hungary until 1914? Ducat. The ducat was a prominent gold or silver coin used across Europe, with its origins in medieval Italy under Roger II of Sicily. Its widespread adoption by major trading centers like Florence and Venice solidified its importance in international commerce, remaining a significant currency in some regions until the early 20th century. What name is given to the concept that an animal hitting keys at random on a typewriter for an infinite amount of time will almost surely type a particular chosen text, such as the complete works of William Shakespeare? Infinite monkey theorem. The infinite monkey theorem is a thought experiment demonstrating concepts of probability and infinity. It postulates that a monkey randomly hitting keys on a typewriter for an infinite duration will eventually, with almost certainty, produce any given text, including literary masterpieces. This illustrates the vast possibilities that arise over infinite time frames. What workers make up the majority of the Teamsters Union in the USA? Truck drivers. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters, commonly known as the Teamsters Union, is one of the largest labor unions in the United States and Canada. Its membership predominantly comprises truck drivers, alongside warehouse workers and other industrial and public service employees, making it a powerful force in the transportation and logistics sectors. The RMS Lancastria was the subject of the worst single loss of life in British maritime history and the bloodiest single engagement for UK forces in World War II. She was sunk by German bombers on the 17th of June 1940 when taking part in an operation to evacuate 150,000 troops from where? Saint-Nazaire. The sinking of the RMS Lancastria in June 1940 off Saint-Nazaire, France, during World War II, stands as the worst single loss of life in British maritime history. While evacuating British troops and civilians, the ship was bombed by German aircraft, resulting in an estimated 4,000 to 7,000 fatalities. This tragedy underscores the profound human cost of wartime operations. Which mountain range stretches from Austria and Slovenia in the east, through Italy, Switzerland, Liechtenstein and Germany to France in the west? Alps. The Alps are the highest and most extensive mountain range system that lies entirely in Europe, stretching approximately 1,200 kilometers across 8 alpine countries. They are a significant geographical and ecological region, influencing climate and culture across the continent. As of April 2010, who was the wealthiest person in the world? Carlos Slim Hale, Mexican business magnate. Carlos Slim Hale, a Mexican business magnate, was ranked as the world's wealthiest person by Forbes in April 2010. His wealth primarily stemmed from his extensive holdings in telecommunications, particularly through América Móvil. Churning cream turns it into what? Butter. Churning cream is a mechanical process that agitates the fat globules, causing them to coalesce and separate from the buttermilk. This physical transformation results in the formation of butter, a dairy product consisting of butterfat, water, and milk proteins. If someone is narcoleptic, what do they tend to do? Fall asleep. Narcolepsy is a chronic neurological condition characterized by overwhelming daytime drowsiness and sudden attacks of sleep. Individuals with narcolepsy experience an inability to regulate sleep-wake cycles normally, often leading to involuntary sleep episodes. Sean Parnell made international news in July 2009. Who is he? The Lieutenant Governor of Alaska who became governor after Sarah Palin's resignation. Sean Parnell was the Lieutenant Governor of Alaska who became governor in July 2009 following Sarah Palin's resignation. This event marked a significant political transition within the state of Alaska during that period. What was the occupation of John Spilsbury of London, England, who is credited with inventing the jigsaw puzzle around 1760? Mapmaker and engraver. John Spilsbury, an English mapmaker and engraver, is widely credited with inventing the jigsaw puzzle around 1760. He originally created these dissected maps as educational tools to help children learn geography. The state of Tabasco, where the sauce gets its name, is in which country? Mexico. The state of Tabasco is situated in southeastern Mexico, bordering the Gulf of Mexico. Known for its rich biodiversity and historical significance, the region lends its name to the famous Tabasco hot sauce, which, however, is primarily produced in the United States. How many verbs are in the following sentence? Roger told his dog not to jump on the furniture with muddy feet. 2. In the sentence, told functions as the main finite verb. The word jump is also a verb, but it appears in its infinitive form, to jump, acting as a non-finite verb within the sentence structure. Someone who'll watch over me, and Factory Girls are plays by whom? Frank McGuinness. Frank McGuinness is a renowned Irish playwright known for his powerful dramas. Someone Who'll Watch Over Me explores the shared experiences of hostages from different backgrounds, while Factory Girls is a notable musical. During the reign of which English king was there a succession crisis between his supporters and those of his cousin, the Empress Matilda? Stephen. The Anarchy was a civil war in England and Normandy during the reign of King Stephen, 1135 to 1154. This succession crisis was triggered by the death of Henry I, with Stephen's claim to the throne contested by his cousin, Empress Matilda. The mazurka originated in which country? Poland. The mazurka is a Polish folk dance, often lively and fast-paced, typically performed by couples. It is characterized by its specific rhythmic pattern, usually in triple meter, and gained popularity across Europe in the 19th century. What motto is inscribed below the Indian national emblem, which was adopted on January 26, 1950? Satyamev Jayate, the truth alone triumphs. The national emblem of India is an adaptation of the lion capital of Ashoka at Sarnath. Below the abacus, the motto, Satyamev Jayate, truth alone triumphs, is inscribed in Devanagari script, which is a quote from the Mundaka Upanishad. A guava is a type of what? Fruit. Guava is a common tropical fruit cultivated for its edible produce. It is native to Mexico, Central America, the Caribbean and northern South America, and is known for its nutritional value, especially its high vitamin C content. What is another name for a lexicon? Dictionary. A lexicon is essentially a dictionary, especially one compiling words relating to a particular field or language. It provides an alphabetical list of words in a language or dialect, along with their definitions, etymologies, and other relevant information. In Norse mythology, which plant killed the god Balder? Mistletoe. Balder, the god of light and purity, was impervious to all things except mistletoe, due to a trick by the mischievous god Loki. Loki convinced the blind god Thor to shoot Balder with an arrow made of mistletoe, leading to his demise. Paleontology is the study of what? Fossils. Paleontology is the scientific study of life that existed prior to, or, in some cases, during, the Holocene epoch. It involves the study of fossils to determine organisms' evolution, interactions with each other, and their past environments. What is the main constituent of the atmosphere of Mars? Carbon dioxide. The atmosphere of Mars is predominantly composed of carbon dioxide, accounting for about 95% of its volume. Smaller amounts of nitrogen, argon, and traces of other gases are also present, contributing to its thin and cold conditions. The phrase, bigger bang for the buck, first heard in the USA in 1954, was used to describe what? Policy to use nuclear weapons, not a large regular army, to threaten the USSR. The phrase, bigger bang for the buck, emerged during the Cold War, reflecting the Eisenhower administration's new look defense policy. This strategy prioritized nuclear deterrence as a cost-effective means to counter the Soviet Union, aiming to maximize defensive impact with reduced conventional military spending. Where is the calcaneus bone? Heel. The calcaneus, commonly known as the heel bone, is the largest bone in the foot and forms the prominence of the heel. It plays a crucial role in weight bearing, walking, and provides attachment points for several muscles and ligaments essential for foot movement. Which Scotsman, a self-made man, merchant and yachtsman who created a tea brand, was a persistent challenger for the America's Cup? Sir Thomas Lipton. Sir Thomas Lipton was a renowned Scottish entrepreneur who founded the Lipton tea brand, achieving global success. He is also famous for his persistent, though unsuccessful, challenges for the America's Cup yachting trophy 6 times between 1899 and 1930, earning him widespread admiration. Dick Turpin was famous as what sort of criminal? Highwayman. Dick Turpin was an infamous English highwayman who operated in the 18th century, primarily known for robbery and horse theft. His exploits were highly romanticized after his death, particularly in Victorian literature, solidifying his legend as a notorious criminal. What is the state motto of the U.S. state of California? Eureka. The state motto of California is Eureka, a Greek word meaning, I have found it. This motto was adopted in 1849, symbolizing the excitement and rapid growth associated with the discovery of gold during the California Gold Rush. What was the first car to be optionally equipped with a GPS navigation system, which was introduced to the market in 1990? Mazda Cosmo. The Mazda Cosmo, UNOS Cosmo, was indeed the first production car to offer a factory-installed GPS navigation system as an option in 1990. This marked a significant milestone in automotive technology, making advanced navigation accessible to consumers. What alias was adopted by Colleen LaRose, who was accused of conspiring with foreign militants and pledging to commit murder in the name of a holy war, leading to her plea of not guilty in a Philadelphia court in March 2010? Jihad Jane. Colleen LaRose, an American woman, gained notoriety as Jihad Jane after being indicted on charges related to terrorism in 2010. She was accused of conspiring with terror suspects overseas in planning to murder a Swedish artist in the name of jihad. This case highlighted the evolving threat of homegrown extremism and online radicalization. Quinsy, also known as peritonsillar abscess, primarily affects which part of the human body? Tonsils. Quinsy is a serious complication of tonsillitis, characterized by a peritonsillar abscess, which is a collection of pus behind the tonsil. It causes severe throat pain, difficulty swallowing, and fever, requiring prompt medical attention. From which continent do the native tribes and ethnic groups such as the Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, Amhara, Somali, Fula, Shona, Zulu, Hutu, Maasai, Tutsi, and Nubians primarily originate? Africa. These listed groups represent some of the most prominent ethnic communities across various regions of Africa. Their diverse cultures, languages, and histories contribute significantly to the rich tapestry of the African continent. Understanding their geographical distribution is fundamental to African studies. Who commanded the Allied forces during the Second Battle of El Alamein? Bernard Montgomery. Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery led the British Eighth Army to a decisive victory over the Axis forces at the Second Battle of El Alamein in October to November 1942. This battle marked a crucial turning point in the North African campaign of World War II, shifting the momentum in favor of the Allies. Which astronomical instrument, utilized from classical antiquity through the medieval Islamic world, the Middle Ages, and the Renaissance, was employed by astronomers, navigators, and astrologers to ascertain celestial positions, determine local time or latitude, conduct surveys, and cast horoscopes? Astrolabe. The astrolabe was a sophisticated astronomical instrument used for various purposes including measuring altitudes of celestial bodies, determining local time, and for navigation. Its development and widespread use across different civilizations demonstrate significant advancements in early observational astronomy and mathematics. What significant event was marked by an 1885 ceremony conducted by Sir Donald Smith in Craigellachie, British Columbia, Canada? Completion of the Canadian Pacific Railway. The driving of the last spike by Sir Donald Smith at Craigellachie in 1885 symbolized the completion of the Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR. This monumental engineering feat united Canada from coast to coast, facilitating trade, settlement, and national identity. Who formulated the law stating that, in a paramagnetic material, the magnetization is approximately directly proportional to an applied magnetic field, but inversely proportional to temperature when the material is heated? Pierre Curie. Pierre Curie formulated Curie's law, which describes the magnetic properties of paramagnetic materials. This law states that the magnetic susceptibility of a paramagnetic material is inversely proportional to its absolute temperature, provided the magnetic field is not too strong. In which state or territory of Australia would you find the area known as the Katherine region? Northern Territory. The Katherine region is a significant geographical and cultural area located in the northern part of Australia. It is specifically situated within the Northern Territory, known for its diverse landscapes, including national parks and indigenous cultural sites. What is the name for someone who engages in the scientific study of fermentation? Zymologist. A zymologist is a specialist in zymergy, which is the scientific study of fermentation and its practical application. This field is crucial in industries such as brewing, winemaking, and bread production, involving microorganisms like yeast and bacteria. What award is considered the equivalent of the Academy Awards, Oscars, for live American theater? Tony Awards. The Tony Awards, officially the Antoinette Perry Award for Excellence in Broadway Theatre, celebrate achievements in live Broadway theatre. Established in 1947, they are considered the highest honor for professional theatre in the United States, analogous to the Oscars for film. In 2006, Michelle Bachelet became the first female president of which South American country? Chile. Michelle Bachelet made history in 2006 by becoming the first female president of Chile, serving 2 non-consecutive terms. Her presidency marked a significant milestone for gender equality and political representation in Latin America. What is another common name for a wildebeest? Gnu. Wildebeest are large antelopes native to the plains of southern and eastern Africa. They are also widely known by their alternative name, gnu, and are famous for their annual mass migrations across the Serengeti and Masai Mara ecosystems. Before the introduction of the euro on January 1, 2002, which European country used the guilder as its basic currency unit? The Netherlands. The Dutch guilder, gulden, was the official currency of the Netherlands for centuries until it was replaced by the euro on January 1, 2002. This transition was part of a broader European monetary integration, standardizing currency across many EU member states. The Year of Three Popes, involving Pope Paul VI, Pope John Paul I, and Pope John Paul II, is the name given to which year? 1978. The year 1978 is historically significant as it saw 3 different popes: Paul VI, who died in August, John Paul I, who was elected after Paul VI and died 33 days later, and John Paul II, who was elected in October and went on to have one of the longest pontificates. This rapid succession of leadership within the Catholic Church makes 1978 a notable year in religious history. Coronation Day, April 21, and Coronation Day, November 2, are important holy days in which religion? Rastafarianism. Coronation Day, celebrated on April 21, commemorates Emperor Haile Selassie I's visit to Jamaica in 1966, a pivotal event for Rastafarians who consider him divine. Coronation Day, November 2, marks the anniversary of Haile Selassie's coronation as Emperor of Ethiopia in 1930. These days are central to the Rastafarian faith and its veneration of Haile Selassie I. What is the technical term for heartburn? Pyrosis. Pyrosis is the medical term for heartburn, a burning sensation in the chest or throat caused by stomach acid regurgitating into the esophagus. It is often a symptom of gastroesophageal reflux disease, GERD. What caused approximately 12,000 deaths in 4 days in London in 1952? The Great Smog of London. The Great Smog of London occurred in December 1952, when a period of cold weather combined with an anticyclone and windless conditions collected airborne pollutants, primarily from coal burning, to form a thick layer of smog over the city. This severe air pollution event led to an estimated 12,000 premature deaths and prompted significant changes in environmental legislation, including the Clean Air Act of 1956. What are the tributaries of the Limpopo River, including the Olifon River, Elephant River, the Shashe River, Mzingwane River, Crocodile River, Muinezi River, and Luohu River? The Limpopo River. The Limpopo River is a major river in southern Africa, flowing generally eastwards through South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. Its numerous tributaries, including those listed, contribute significantly to its basin and the ecology of the region. What is the specific name for the chain, cable, or mooring line, or a combination of these, which is attached to a ship's anchor at one end and the ship itself at the other? Rod. A rod is the nautical term for the line connecting a boat to its anchor. This crucial component ensures the vessel remains securely moored, comprising various materials such as chain, rope, or a combination thereof. Who famously put his telescope to his blind eye to ignore the orders of his superiors at the Battle of Copenhagen? Lord Nelson. Admiral Lord Horatio Nelson, a celebrated figure in British naval history, is famous for this act of defiance. During the Battle of Copenhagen in 1801, he disregarded a signal to retreat, leading his fleet to a decisive victory. Marie du Barry, an 18th-century French adventuress and mistress to Louis XV from 1769 to 1774, died in 1793 after returning from England. How did she die? She was guillotined. Madame du Barry, despite her former position, faced the brutal consequences of the French Revolution. She was arrested and subsequently guillotined in December 1793 during the Reign of Terror, a period of intense political purging. What is UDFY 38135539, which was calculated in October 2010 to be 13 billion light-years away? Galaxy. UDFY 38135539 is a very distant galaxy, notable for its extreme age and distance from Earth. Its observation provides astronomers with insights into the early universe, as the light we detect from it has traveled for approximately 13 billion years. What was the largest empire in history, which began with maritime exploration in the 15th century and, by 1921, governed approximately 458 million people and covered about 36.6 million kilometers, 14.2 million square miles, representing about a quarter of the world's population and land area? British. The British Empire, originating from the Age of Discovery, expanded to become the largest empire in history. At its zenith, it exerted significant influence across the globe, shaping political, economic, and cultural landscapes on every continent. For which MP did Katya Zatulivata, who was deported from the UK in December 2010 on suspicion of spying for the Russians, work in the House of Commons? Michael Hancock, Portsmouth South, Liberal Democrats. Katya Zatulivata was a parliamentary assistant for Liberal Democrat MP Michael Hancock when she faced deportation from the UK. Her case sparked significant media attention regarding national security and alleged espionage, although an immigration judge later cleared her of being a Russian agent. Peruvian Lina Medina, aged 5, made history in 1939 as the youngest person to do what? Give birth. Lina Medina holds the confirmed record as the youngest mother in medical history, giving birth in 1939 at the astonishing age of 5 years and 7 months. Her case remains a profound and well-documented medical phenomenon that has been extensively studied. Swiss scientist Albert Hofmann was talking about what when he said, "I think that in human evolution it has never been as necessary to have this substance. It is just a tool to turn us into what we are supposed to be." Quote. Lysergic acid diethylamide, LSD. Albert Hofmann was a Swiss chemist known for synthesizing lysergic acid diethylamide, LSD, in 1938 and discovering its psychoactive effects in 1943. His quote reflects his complex views on the substance's potential for consciousness expansion and its role in human evolution. In which state of the USA is the educational institution known as UCLA? California. UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, is a prominent public land-grant research university situated in Los Angeles, California. It is one of the 10 campuses of the University of California system and is globally recognized for its academic excellence and extensive research contributions. Harold I of England was nicknamed Harold, what? Harefoot. Harold I, who reigned as King of England from 1035 to 1040, was commonly known by the nickname Harold Harefoot. This moniker likely stemmed from his exceptional speed and prowess as a hunter or his physical agility, distinguishing him as the son of Canute the Great. In Samuel Beckett's play, Waiting for Godot, which two characters appear together, briefly, once in each act? Pozzo and Lucky. In Samuel Beckett's seminal absurdist play, Waiting for Godot, Pozzo and Lucky are a master-slave duo who make brief, impactful appearances in both acts. Their dynamic serves as a stark counterpoint to the central characters, Vladimir and Estragon, symbolizing profound themes of dependency, power structures, and the broader human condition. In which country did the idea of Father Christmas coming down the chimney and leaving presents originate? USA. The modern popular image of Santa Claus, Father Christmas, descending chimneys to deliver presents largely originated in the United States. This tradition was significantly popularized by works such as Clement Clarke Moore's 1823 poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, also known as The Night Before Christmas, and the 19th century illustrations of Thomas Nast for Harper's Weekly. From 1935 to 1946, the Philippines was officially called the Commonwealth of the Philippines when the country was a commonwealth of which nation? USA. The Commonwealth of the Philippines was an administrative entity that governed the Philippines between 1935 and 1946, serving as a transitional government prior to its full independence. During this period, the Philippines remained a Commonwealth of the United States, which had acquired it from Spain following the Spanish-American War in 1898. In 1859, Colonel Edwin L. Drake created the first what in the USA, in Pennsylvania? Productive oil well. In 1859, Colonel Edwin L. Drake successfully drilled the first commercial oil well in Titusville, Pennsylvania. This groundbreaking event is widely recognized as the birth of the modern petroleum industry, fundamentally transforming global energy production and paving the way for extensive industrial and technological advancements. Which international human rights organization, founded in 1961, has been associated with prominent figures like Peter Benenson, Irene Khan, and Salil Shetty? Amnesty International. Amnesty International is a global non-governmental organization focused on human rights, campaigning for a world where every person enjoys all human rights. Founded in London in 1961 by Peter Benenson, it was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1977 for its crucial work against torture and advocating for prisoners of conscience. In May 2010, David Cameron was asked by Queen Elizabeth II to form a government in the UK. He announced his intention to lead a formal coalition between the Conservative Party and which other political party? Liberal Democrats. Following the 2010 UK general election, which resulted in a hung parliament, David Cameron's Conservative Party formed a coalition government with the Liberal Democrats. This marked the first full coalition government in the United Kingdom since World War II, bringing together two parties with distinct ideological platforms. How many members are there in the German Bundestag, the federal parliament of Germany? 622. The German Bundestag is the federal parliament of Germany. While the standard number of members is officially 598, the actual number varies significantly due to Germany's complex electoral system, which includes overhang and leveling seats to ensure proportional representation. The number 622 refers to the total members of the 18th Bundestag, which was in session from 2013 to 2017. The historically significant Wind of Change speech was delivered by British Prime Minister Harold Macmillan on the 3rd of February 1960 to the Parliament of which country? South Africa. British Prime Minister Harold Macmillan delivered his iconic Wind of Change speech to the Parliament of South Africa in Cape Town on February 3, 1960. The speech acknowledged the growing force of African nationalism and the inevitable path towards independence for African nations, signaling a major shift in British colonial policy regarding decolonization. Who wrote The Naked Ape and The Human Zoo? Desmond Morris. Desmond Morris is a British zoologist, ethologist, and surrealist painter. His influential books, The Naked Ape, 1967, and The Human Zoo, 1969, explore human behavior from an evolutionary and zoological perspective, comparing human society to an animal zoo. What name was given to the predominant type of 20th century battleship, with an all-big gun, armament and steam turbine propulsion, that was named after the first of the kind, launched by the Royal Navy in 1906? Dreadnought. The HMS Dreadnought, launched by the Royal Navy in 1906, revolutionized naval warfare by introducing the all-big gun, armament and steam turbine propulsion. This design rendered all previous battleships obsolete and gave its name to an entire class of warships that dominated naval strategy in the early 20th century. What does feng shui mean literally? Wind and water. Feng shui is an ancient Chinese practice that aims to balance energy, qi, in a space to ensure good fortune and harmony. Literally meaning, wind and water, it involves arranging buildings, objects, and spaces in accordance with specific principles to optimize energy flow. Where is the pituitary gland situated? Brain. The pituitary gland, often called the master gland, is a small, pea-sized endocrine gland located at the base of the brain, below the hypothalamus. It plays a crucial role in regulating vital bodily functions and general well-being by producing and secreting various hormones that control other endocrine glands. Pirates operating off the coast of which country took over $100 million in ransom payments between 2007 and 2009? Somalia. Somali piracy was a major international concern from the mid-2000s to the early 2010s, with pirates operating off the coast of Somalia targeting commercial vessels in the Gulf of Aden and the Indian Ocean. These groups extorted significant ransom payments, impacting global shipping and prompting an international naval response. PBS Pinchback was the first non-white and first person of African American descent to become governor of a U.S. state, serving for 35 days from the 9th of December 1872 to the 13th of January 1873. Which state was this? Louisiana. PBS Pinchback served as the acting governor of Louisiana from December 9, 1872, to January 13, 1873, during the Reconstruction era. He was the first person of African American descent to serve as a state governor in U.S. history, a landmark achievement reflecting the political advancements of African Americans after the Civil War. Whose body, initially buried in an unnamed tomb in the Catholic Church of Frombork, Poland in 1543, was exhumed in 2005 and reburied in May 2010 during a ceremony led by the Archbishop of Gniezno and Primate of Poland? Nicolaus Copernicus. Nicolaus Copernicus was a Renaissance-era astronomer who formulated a model of the universe with the Sun at its center, rather than Earth. His heliocentric theory, published in De Revolution Ibus Orbium Coelestium, on the revolutions of the heavenly spheres, marked a pivotal moment in the history of science, initiating the Copernican revolution. Which major world religion is based on the teachings of Siddhartha Gautama? Buddhism. Buddhism is a religion and dharma that originated in ancient India, founded by Siddhartha Gautama, also known as the Buddha. Its core teachings revolve around the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, aiming to achieve enlightenment and liberation from suffering, nirvana. The famous statue known as Mannequin Pies, depicting a small boy relieving himself, is located in which European capital city? Brussels. Mannequin Pies is a small bronze sculpture in Brussels, Belgium, depicting a naked boy urinating into a fountain's basin. It is one of the best-known symbols of the city and is often dressed in various costumes for special occasions. The numbers 111, 222, 333, 444, 555, 666, 777, 888, and 999 are all exact multiples of what specific two-digit prime number? 37. All numbers formed by repeating a single digit 3 times, like 111, 222, etc., are always divisible by 37. This mathematical property arises because each number can be expressed as 111 multiplied by the repeating digit, e.g., 222 equals 2 by 111, and 111 itself is 3 by 37. Traditionally, what instrument does the leader of a symphony orchestra play? The violin. The concertmaster, who is the leader of a symphony orchestra, traditionally plays the first violin. They sit in the first chair of the first violin section and play a critical role in leading the ensemble, including giving bowing cues and setting the tone. When Winston Churchill famously said, "Now this is not the end, nor is it even the beginning of the end, but it is, perhaps, the end of the beginning," which event was he referring to? The Second Battle of El Alamein. Winston Churchill delivered this memorable quote after the British victory in the Second Battle of El Alamein in November 1942. This pivotal battle in North Africa marked a significant turning point in World War II, halting the Axis advance and shifting momentum in favor of the Allies. What disease reached epidemic proportions in Haiti in late 2010? Cholera. In late 2010, Haiti experienced a severe cholera epidemic following a devastating earthquake earlier that year. The outbreak highlighted the vulnerabilities in the country's public health infrastructure and water sanitation systems, leading to a major humanitarian crisis. In 1932, the Kingdom of Hejaz and Najd unified with the principal regions of Al-Hasr and Qatif to form which country? The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was formally established in 1932 through the unification of several regions under Abdulaziz ibn Saud. This event marked the culmination of the efforts to consolidate various territories of the Arabian Peninsula into a modern state. How many letters are there in the Turkish alphabet? 29. The modern Turkish alphabet, adopted in 1928 as part of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk's reforms, consists of 29 letters. It is a Latin-based alphabet that includes specific characters designed to represent the sounds of the Turkish language more accurately than the Ottoman Turkish alphabet. A wobbegong is a type of what animal? Shark. A wobbegong is a type of carpet shark, primarily found in the shallow temperate and tropical waters of the western Pacific and eastern Indian Oceans. These sharks are known for their distinctive flattened bodies, ornate camouflage patterns, and beard-like lobes around their mouths, which help them ambush prey on the seabed. To which mountain range does the phrase, Mountain Standard Time, primarily refer? The Rockies. Mountain Standard Time, MST, is one of the time zones observed in North America, specifically 7 hours behind Coordinated Universal Time, UTC-7. This time zone primarily covers the regions where the Rocky Mountains are located, influencing states and provinces across the western United States and Canada. Which country's flag is a horizontal tricolor of deep saffron at the top, white in the middle, and green at the bottom, featuring a navy blue wheel with 24 spokes in the center? India. The national flag of India, known as the Tiranga, was officially adopted on July 22, 1947. The navy blue wheel in its center is the Ashoka Chakra, symbolizing the dharma, righteousness, and continuous progress of the nation. According to biblical accounts, Goliath belonged to which ancient group of people? The Philistines. Goliath was a legendary giant warrior of the Philistines, famously defeated by the young David as described in the first book of Samuel in the Hebrew Bible. The Philistines were an ancient people who inhabited the southern coastal region of Canaan. Who was the first author to receive the Booker Prize twice before being awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2003? J. M. Coetzee. J. M. Coetzee, a distinguished South African novelist, essayist, and academic, holds the distinction of being the first writer to win the Booker Prize on 2 occasions, for his novels, Life and Times of Michael K., 1983, and Disgrace, 1999. He was subsequently honored with the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2003. In theatrical contexts, who typically participates in a curtain call? Performers. A curtain call is a traditional part of a theatrical or musical performance where performers appear on stage after the show's conclusion to acknowledge the audience's applause. It serves as an opportunity for the cast to show gratitude and for the audience to express their appreciation. On the 1st of September 2010, in the Iraq War, the USA replaced the name, Operation Iraqi Freedom, with what? Operation New Dawn. Operation New Dawn was the successor to Operation Iraqi Freedom in the Iraq War, signifying a shift in focus from combat operations to stability operations and advising the Iraqi security forces. It commenced on September 1, 2010, and marked the official end of U.S. combat operations in Iraq. What is the name of the transition from a liquid state directly to a gas of an element or compound? Vaporization. Vaporization is the physical process where a substance transitions from the liquid phase to the gas phase. This can occur through evaporation, at the surface below boiling point, or boiling, throughout the liquid at boiling point. It is a fundamental concept in thermodynamics. What term applies to an engine comprising 2 banks of 4 cylinders inclined towards each other, with a common crankshaft? V8. A V8 engine is a V-configuration 8-cylinder piston engine where the cylinders are mounted on the crankshaft in 2 separate banks of 4 cylinders, typically set at an angle to each other. This design allows for a more compact engine size while delivering significant power output, commonly found in larger vehicles and performance cars. The Support Our Law Enforcement and Safe Neighborhoods Act, signed into law in the U.S. state of Arizona on the 23rd of April 2010, concerns what? Illegal immigration. The Support Our Law Enforcement and Safe Neighborhoods Act, SB 1070, was a controversial legislative act in Arizona, USA, primarily targeting illegal immigration. Signed in 2010, it authorized state law enforcement to determine a person's immigration status during a lawful stop, leading to widespread debate and legal challenges over civil rights and federal immigration authority. Whose autobiography was entitled, A Long Walk to Freedom? Nelson Mandela. A Long Walk to Freedom is the autobiography of Nelson Mandela, detailing his early life, 27 years in prison, and his path to becoming president of post-apartheid South Africa. The book is a seminal work on human rights, political struggle, and reconciliation. Tofu is made by coagulating what, and compacting the resulting curds into blocks? Soy milk. Tofu, also known as bean curd, is a food prepared by coagulating soy milk and then pressing the resulting curds into solid white blocks. This process is similar to how dairy cheese is made from milk and is a staple protein source in many Asian cuisines. Which body of water borders the state of Washington, USA? Pacific Ocean. The state of Washington is located in the Pacific Northwest region of the United States. Its western border is extensively defined by the Pacific Ocean, which plays a significant role in the state's climate, ecology, and economy, including major port activities. Where is the boxing venue known as Madison Square Garden? New York. Madison Square Garden is a world-renowned multipurpose indoor arena located in New York City, United States. It is famous for hosting major sporting events, concerts, and other large-scale public gatherings, making it a globally recognized landmark. Who wrote, "Come friendly bombs and fall on Slough, it isn't fit for humans now"? Sir John Betjeman. Sir John Betjeman, an English poet, writer, and broadcaster, penned this famous satirical line from his poem, Slough. He was known for his advocacy for Victorian architecture and his often critical, yet affectionate, observations of English life and landscapes. How many Mexican states share a land border with the USA? 6. 6 Mexican states share a land border with the United States: Baja California, Sonora, Chihuahua, Coahuila, Nuevo León, and Tamaulipas. This extensive border is one of the busiest in the world, influencing demographics, economy, and political relations between the two countries. What is the term for severe and life-threatening allergic reactions to environmental or dietary allergens or to medication? Anaphylactic. Anaphylaxis is a severe, potentially life-threatening allergic reaction that can occur rapidly, often within minutes of exposure to an allergen. It requires immediate medical attention and treatment, typically with an epinephrine injection, to prevent serious complications or death. What was the name of the British Royal yacht that entered service in 1953 and was decommissioned on the 11th of December 1997? Britannia. The Royal Yacht Britannia served the British royal family from 1954 until 1997, traveling over 1 million nautical miles around the globe. It played a significant role in representing the United Kingdom abroad and in transporting the royal family on official visits. What is the relationship between the words bridal and bridal? Homophones. Bridal and bridal are examples of homophones, which are words that sound alike but have different meanings and often different spellings. Bridle refers to a piece of headgear used to control a horse, while bridal pertains to a bride or a wedding. In common English usage, what is the Latin word for doing or saying the same thing again? Ditto. The word ditto originates from Latin, meaning the said, or the aforesaid, and entered English usage through Italian. In common parlance, it is used to indicate agreement or to repeat something already said, signifying the same, or made to. In 1314, who led the Scottish forces at the Battle of Bannockburn? Robert the Bruce. Robert the Bruce, King of Scots, led the Scottish forces to a decisive victory over the English at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314. This pivotal battle was a crucial moment in the First War of Scottish independence, solidifying Scotland's sovereignty for centuries. A theory of the workings of the human body adopted by Greek and Roman physicians and believed until the 19th century was that it was filled with 4 basic substances: black bile, yellow bile, phlegm, and blood. These were collectively known as what? Humours. The theory of the 4 humours, blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile, was a fundamental concept in ancient and medieval medicine, originating with Greek physicians like Hippocrates. It posited that imbalances in these bodily fluids caused illness, influencing medical practice and understanding for over 1,000 years. The internal angles of a triangle add up to how many degrees? 180. The sum of the internal angles of any Euclidean triangle is always 180 degrees. This is a foundational principle in geometry and trigonometry, essential for understanding shapes and spatial relationships. Where would you find the river called the Ouse? England. The River Ouse is a prominent river system in England, with multiple rivers bearing this name in different regions like Yorkshire, Sussex, and Bedfordshire. These rivers have historically played significant roles in local economies and transportation. What is a polytunnel used for? Gardening. A polytunnel is a tunnel-shaped structure, typically made of polyethylene film stretched over hoops, used for growing plants. It functions as a cost-effective greenhouse, providing a controlled environment that extends the growing season and protects crops from adverse weather conditions. What city, founded around 1048 by King Harold III, was largely destroyed by fire and rebuilt from 1624 by King Christian IV and named Christiania, and reverted to its original name in 1925? Oslo. Oslo, the capital of Norway, has a rich history dating back to around 1048. After a devastating fire in 1624, it was rebuilt and renamed Christiania by King Christian IV of Denmark and Norway. The city reverted to its original name, Oslo, in 1925, reflecting its long heritage. A PSA test is used to detect what? Prostate cancer. A prostate-specific antigen (PSA) test is a blood test primarily used to screen for prostate cancer. While elevated PSA levels can indicate prostate cancer, they can also be associated with other non-cancerous conditions like benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, or prostatitis, requiring further diagnostic evaluation. Who was shot dead on the 9th of October 1967 while trying to organize a revolution in Bolivia? Che Guevara. Che Guevara was an Argentine Marxist revolutionary and a major figure in the Cuban Revolution. He was captured and executed by Bolivian army forces in Bolivia on October 9, 1967, while attempting to incite a revolution. His life and death remain a powerful symbol of rebellion and anti-imperialism. Where is Mozart's opera, The Marriage of Figaro, set? Spain. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's renowned opera, The Marriage of Figaro, is primarily set in Seville, Spain. This 1786 opera buffer, with a libretto by Lorenzo da Ponte, is celebrated for its intricate plot, memorable arias, and sharp social commentary based on Pierre Beaumarchais's play. For what activity would one use a Bunsen burner? Chemistry. A Bunsen burner is a common piece of laboratory equipment that produces a single open gas flame, primarily used for heating, sterilization, and combustion. It is fundamentally utilized in chemistry and biology experiments to provide a controlled heat source for various reactions and processes. A statue to which tactical commander during the Battle of Britain was unveiled in Waterloo Place, London, on the 15th of September 2010. Air Vice Marshal Keith Park. Air Vice Marshal Keith Park was a highly distinguished commander in the Royal Air Force, known for his critical role in the Battle of Britain during World War II. He commanded No. 11 Group, responsible for defending London and southeast England, employing innovative tactics crucial to Britain's victory. His statue in Waterloo Place commemorates his vital strategic leadership. Where was playwright Samuel Beckett born? Ireland. Samuel Beckett was an influential Irish novelist, playwright, and poet, a key figure in the theatre of the absurd. He is best known for his seminal play Waiting for Godot and was born in Foxy Rock, Dublin, Ireland. Beckett was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1969, recognizing his profound contributions to modern literature. What is another name for the aurora borealis? Northern Lights. Aurora borealis, also known as the Northern Lights, is a natural light display in the Earth's sky, predominantly seen in high-latitude regions. It is caused by the collision of energetic charged particles with atoms in the high-altitude atmosphere. What international consumer item does The Economist use to compare purchasing power between countries? Big Mac. The Big Mac Index is a humorous but relatively accurate tool created by The Economist to illustrate purchasing power parity, PPP, between different countries. It compares the price of a McDonald's Big Mac burger in various countries, using the US dollar as the benchmark. The USA entered World War I because Germany attempted to enlist Mexico as an ally, and for what other reason? Germany started unrestricted submarine warfare. The United States entered World War I primarily due to two factors: Germany's unrestricted submarine warfare, which led to the sinking of American merchant ships and the Lusitania, and the Zimmermann telegram, which revealed Germany's attempt to form an alliance with Mexico against the US. What type of geographical feature is an oxbow? Lake. An oxbow lake is a U-shaped lake or pool that forms when a wide meander of a river is cut off from the main channel, creating a freestanding body of water. This process typically occurs in floodplains where rivers flow across flat land. Who, as U.S. Secretary of State under President Eisenhower from 1953 to 1959, advocated an aggressive stance against communism, supported France in the war in Indochina, and played a major role in the CIA operations to overthrow democratic governments in Iran in 1953 and in Guatemala in 1954? John Foster Dulles. John Foster Dulles served as U.S. Secretary of State during the Cold War under President Eisenhower. He was a staunch anti-communist, advocating brinkmanship and massive retaliation, and was instrumental in shaping U.S. foreign policy, including covert operations in Iran and Guatemala. What is Canada's largest province by area? Quebec. Quebec is the largest province in Canada by land area, covering a vast territory in eastern Canada. Its capital is Quebec City, and it is known for its distinct French culture and language. At which UK general election was Helen Grant elected, the Conservative Party's first black female MP? 2010. Helen Grant made history in the 2010 UK general election by becoming the Conservative Party's first black female Member of Parliament. Her election marked a significant step towards greater diversity in British politics. During World War II, what was the name given to deliberately created simulations of burning towns that were constructed in Britain to decoy German night bombers away from bombing real towns? Starfish sites. Starfish sites were elaborate decoys built in rural areas across Britain during World War II. These sites simulated burning towns and industrial areas using controlled fires and lighting to divert German Luftwaffe bombers from genuine urban targets, aiming to reduce civilian casualties and protect critical infrastructure. What, since 1978, is the official beverage of Puerto Rico? Pina colada. The pina colada, a sweet cocktail made with rum, coconut cream, and pineapple juice, has been the official national drink of Puerto Rico since 1978. Its origins are often traced back to the Caribe Hilton Hotel in San Juan in the mid-20th century. Salvador Dali was a principal figure in what artistic movement? Surrealism. Salvador Dali was a prominent Spanish surrealist artist renowned for his striking and bizarre dreamlike imagery. Surrealism, an avant-garde cultural movement that began in the early 1920s, sought to unleash the creative potential of the unconscious mind. What does a person with narcolepsy do? Falls asleep uncontrollably. Narcolepsy is a chronic neurological condition characterized by overwhelming daytime drowsiness and sudden, uncontrollable attacks of sleep. People with narcolepsy often struggle to stay awake for long periods, regardless of the circumstances, as their brain's ability to regulate sleep-wake cycles is impaired. On what day in 1066 was William I crowned King of England in Westminster Abbey? Christmas Day. William I, known as William the Conqueror, was crowned King of England on Christmas Day, December 25, 1066, at Westminster Abbey. This coronation followed his decisive victory at the Battle of Hastings in October 1066, marking the beginning of Norman rule in England. It is necessary to multiply by 3.2808 to convert what to what? Meters to feet. To convert a measurement from meters to feet, one must multiply the value in meters by approximately 3.2808. This conversion factor is essential for translating measurements between the metric system, used widely globally, and the imperial system. What Texas city stands on the Rio Grande, Rio Bravo del Norte, across the border from Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, Mexico? El Paso. El Paso is a major city in Texas, United States, strategically located on the Rio Grande, known as Rio Bravo del Norte in Mexico. It sits directly across the border from Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, Mexico, forming a large binational metropolitan area and serving as a crucial port of entry. The metropolitan area of Ottawa spans which two Canadian provinces? Ontario and Quebec. The National Capital Region, anchored by Ottawa, the capital city of Canada, lies on the Ottawa River. It primarily encompasses parts of Ontario, Ottawa, and Quebec, Gatineau, highlighting its unique interprovincial governance and cultural diversity. Which group defeated the British Army in 1879 at the Battle of Isandlwana? Zulus. The Battle of Isandlwana, fought on January 22, 1879, was the first major engagement of the Anglo-Zulu War. The Zulu army, despite being armed primarily with traditional weapons, inflicted a devastating defeat on the British forces, showcasing superior tactics and discipline. Which gas is commonly used to produce carbonated soft drinks and soda water? Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, CO2, is dissolved under pressure in water to create carbonated beverages. This process, known as carbonation, gives drinks their characteristic fizziness and slightly acidic taste. The Safari Rally, a prominent event in the World Rally Championship for decades, was first held as a commemorative event in which year? 1953. The Safari Rally, originally known as the East African Coronation Safari, was first held in 1953 to celebrate the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. It quickly gained a reputation as one of the toughest rallies in the world, traversing challenging terrains across Kenya, Uganda, and Tanganyika, now Tanzania. Which war involved the conflict between Republican factions, anarchists, socialists, and communists supported by the Soviet Union and international volunteers, and nationalist forces, conservatives, monarchists, nationalists, and fascists backed by Portugal, Fascist Italy, and Nazi Germany? The Spanish Civil War. The Spanish Civil War, 1936 to 1939, was a brutal conflict that served as a prelude to World War II, testing grounds for new military tactics and weapons. It starkly divided international allegiances along ideological lines, with significant foreign intervention on both sides. Which country comprises the islands of Palawan, Mindoro, Marinduque, Masbate, Buttons, Bohol, Leyte, and Samar? The Philippines. The Philippines is an archipelagic nation in Southeast Asia, consisting of over 7,000 islands. These islands, including those listed, are part of its diverse geography, known for rich biodiversity and unique cultural landscapes. Who is Claris Cliff famous for designing? Pottery. Clarice Cliff was a renowned English ceramic artist and industrial designer known for her distinctive Art Deco pottery, especially her bizarre ware. Her innovative use of bold colors and geometric patterns significantly influenced 20th century pottery design. Which wonder of the ancient world was located at Halicarnassus in Persia? Mausoleum of Mausolus. The mausoleum at Halicarnassus was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, built between 353 and 350 BC for Mausolus, a satrap in the Persian Empire, and his sister wife Artemisia II. Located in present-day Bodrum, Turkey, it was an elaborate tomb renowned for its monumental size and extensive sculptural decoration. Who became head of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in 1954, serving for 22 years, and received an honorary knighthood in 1975 for his role in pioneering the exploration of space? William Bill Pickering. Sir William H. Pickering was a New Zealand-born American rocket scientist who directed the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, for 22 years, playing a pivotal role in the exploration of space. Under his leadership, JPL developed and operated America's first satellite, Explorer 1, and subsequent unmanned planetary missions like Ranger, Surveyor, and Mariner. What is a lizardfish native to the waters between Mumbai and Kutch in the Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal, and the China Sea? Bombay duck. Bombay duck is the common name for Harpdon nereus, a species of lizardfish found primarily in the Indo-Pacific region, including the waters off India. Despite its name, it is a fish, not a duck, and is a popular food item, especially after being dried and cured, in certain cuisines. What organization was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1917, 1944, and 1963? International Committee of the Red Cross. The International Committee of the Red Cross, CROSS, has been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize 3 times, 1917, 1944, and 1963, for its humanitarian efforts. These awards recognized its work in aiding prisoners of war, alleviating suffering during global conflicts, and promoting human rights and international humanitarian law. If one edge of a cube is 3 meters long, what is its volume? 27 cubic meters. The volume of a cube is calculated by cubing the length of one of its edges, side x side. If one edge is 3 meters long, the volume is 3 meters by 3 meters by 3 meters equals 27 cubic meters. This is a fundamental concept in geometry and measurement. What is the oldest stock exchange in the USA? Philadelphia Stock Exchange, PHLX. The Philadelphia Stock Exchange, PHLX, holds the distinction of being the oldest stock exchange in the United States, established in 1790. It played a significant role in the early financial history of the country, predating the New York Stock Exchange. Which country withdrew from the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, in 2008 after it became a net importer of oil? Indonesia. Indonesia withdrew from OPEC in 2008 after its status shifted from a net oil exporter to a net importer, which conflicted with the organization's primary objective. Although it briefly rejoined, it suspended its membership again due to disagreements on production cuts. Abraham Ortelius, a Flemish cartographer and geographer, is generally recognized as the creator of the first what in 1570? Modern Atlas. Abraham Ortelius, a renowned Flemish cartographer, is credited with publishing the Theatrum Orbis Terrarum in 1570, widely considered the first true modern atlas. This groundbreaking work standardized map presentation and significantly advanced the field of cartography. One is Shakespeare's play, Troilus and Cressida, set? The Trojan War. William Shakespeare's play, Troilus and Cressida, is set during the legendary Trojan War, drawing upon the epic cycle of Greek mythology. The play explores themes of love, honor, and disillusionment amidst the protracted conflict between the Greeks and Trojans. Who was on the throne of England when Francis Drake fought the Spanish Armada in 1588? Elizabeth I. Francis Drake's engagement with the Spanish Armada in 1588 was a pivotal naval battle during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. This victory solidified England's position as a naval power and marked a decline in Spanish dominance. The First Punic War was fought mainly on which island? Sicily. The First Punic War, 264–241 B.C., was primarily a naval conflict between the Roman Republic and Carthage, largely fought for control over the strategically important island of Sicily. Rome's victory granted them control of Sicily, marking its first overseas province. Cotley Spout, Gokta, Hanoki, Shir Abad, and Shoshone are the names of what? Waterfalls. Cotley Spout, England; Gokta, Peru; Hanoki, Japan; Shir Abad, Iran; and Shoshone, USA, are all prominent waterfalls located in different parts of the world. Knowledge of such geographical features is common in general geography sections of competitive exams. What basic food can be evaporated, condensed, pasteurized or dried? Milk. Milk, a highly versatile basic food, undergoes various processing methods to extend its shelf life and create different products. These include evaporation for condensed milk, condensation, pasteurization, heating to kill pathogens, and drying for milk powder. Which Jewish festival, celebrated on the 14th and 15th of March, commemorates the preservation of the Jews in Persia from the destruction threatened by Haman? Purim. Purim is a Jewish holiday that commemorates the salvation of the Jewish people in ancient Persia from Haman's plot to annihilate them, as recorded in the Book of Esther. It is celebrated annually on the 14th and 15th days of the Hebrew month of Adar. What is the current name of the country that was ruled by the Pahlavi dynasty from 1925 to 1979? Iran. The Pahlavi dynasty ruled Iran from 1925 until 1979, establishing a modern, secular state. Their rule ended with the Iranian Revolution, which transformed the country into an Islamic republic. The sausage tree, Kigelia or Wurstboom, is native to which continent? Africa. The sausage tree, Kigelia africana, is a distinctive tree species native to tropical Africa. It is known for its unusual, large, sausage-shaped fruits, which can grow up to 2 feet long and are traditionally used in various ways.